Grace, I'm back. So today, what we're going to be doing is the first campaign diary. I don't think we should call them campaign diaries. I got the idea from Matthew Colville, great guy. You should go check out his channel. He does a lot of really good Dungeons and Dragons stuff. But I loved his campaign diaries. Basically, they're like little mini vlogs describing what's happening in his D&D campaign this week. He's DMing. And he uses that as a backlog to check, okay, here's what I did, here's what I didn't do, and like a video diary that he can go check and figure out what's good and what's not. And also other people use it to learn off his mistakes. I am not DMing this campaign. I would really like to. I normally just only DM'd, but I'm finally getting to play, which kind of goes against what my trailer said, but that's life. It's going to be a campaign diary about what we're doing in the campaign. We're running Curse of Strahd. My friend Marcus, it's his first time DMing. And I am the only one other than him who has DM'd, so we have a lot of talk between us because I help him out in a lot of cases. Not a lot of cases. He's very, very good on his own. He's shown to be quite good. So really, we're already 3 sessions in, and I missed the last session. So I'm going to fill you guys up to speed as quick as I can with this little session 0, and then the one I'm going to go to in a couple hours is going to be I'm going to go in a couple hours to the game, and then when I get back, I might record it then, or might record it the next time and update about what happened at the game then. Until then, session 0 is recapping everything until what happens after this video is posted. Okay? Okay, cool. So, session 0. We all decided to make characters. I want to play a paladin. You'll find if you listen to a lot of these, I normally only play paladins. I just like playing a paladin. He is a member of a knightly order whose job it is to defend pilgrims on their way to the Holy Land, similar to the Templar Order. I actually made him after the Teutonic Order. And he is named Nicocholas II of Belmonte. He is a French knight, I guess you could say, even though it's not like real France, but nonetheless. A friend of mine liked the idea, so he also played a crusader, who's, I believe, from France as well, the country that is kind of like France. Okay, so he's also from France. Sorry for the interruption there. Vacuum cleaner came really close, and so I had to cut the video. But, back. So he's also a crusader, although he's not a knight or a paladin such as I. He is actually a fighter. He was a men-at-arms that was drafted, or I don't know what the word, levied by his lord to go on the Crusades. I came up with that idea for him, and we worked it out. It was really good. The other guys, I don't know their backstories that much. They're all named Joestar, and they're anime boys, basically. I believe all of them are spellcasters. We're playing Curse of Strahd, so we're all in a bar together. We know each other. I don't remember the reason. And a Vistani, like a gypsy, walks in and says, "Oh, my master has summoned you," and he's like a Burgomeister of Barovia, and we're like, "Oh, really cool." They don't know anything about this. I've read a little bit into the adventure, so I know a little bit about it because he's using my book. Originally, I planned to run it, but I didn't read all of it, so I was like, "Here, you can do this." So we get the letter, and we're like, really cool, and we decide what to do, so we go off into the woods to go and find Barovia. We ask if it's nearby, and they've never heard of it. We're like, that's weird. Go into the woods, and we come across the gates to Barovia, shrouded in mist. As we continue to walk, the trees grow closer together until we can barely, we can't walk through them, basically. And mist rolls across the ground. And so we got there, and there's this huge gate with these 2 guardian stone statues with their heads destroyed and crashed onto the ground into a million pieces, and the gates seemingly missing rust, but with cobwebs and dust everywhere. And we're like, oh, this is crazy. They're huge gates. And we're like, okay, we're gonna walk up to them, and they just open on their own. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. And we walk through, and as soon as we all get through, they close behind us and do not open again. Okay, cool. So we go to Barovia. And we go in there and we have some fun. We talk with some people, and we figure out some information, and then it ends. We basically just, the first session ends. We basically just talk to a merchant and then talk to a priest for a little bit. And in the next session we talk to this woman named Mad Mary. We heard her crying when we came in. Something to note, this is like an Eastern European village, if you don't know the Curse of Strahd stuff. and it's very, very secluded. The people really don't want to be here, kind of thing. They don't like, they really hate it, and it's very gloomy, and they don't really like outsiders. Also, this merchant guy is selling us anything we want for 10 times the price, and that's not cool. So we go and we walk, and we find Mad Mary's crying. And so we go in and we're like, okay, we already asked about her. We're like, who is this? She goes, oh, it's Mad Mary. And I go in and talk to her. Flash over to my friends. They went to the church because we found a dead body on our way here, and we wanted to see, we wanted to bury it because we're good people. So, or at least take it to the village to be buried. So the priest comes and he's like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, this way. And so we go to bury it, and below the floorboards we hear, Father, I'm hungry. And then we just keep walking, or at least they do. I wasn't there, but they were like, you know what? It's best not talk to priests who keep people in this basement that are apparently hungry. So they get to they get to the grave area, and they bury him, and they're like, cool, lit, and they leave. And on the way out, they're like, so, guy in the floorboards, what's that all about? And he's like, oh, that's my son. He was possessed by the devil Strahd. And they're like, oh, of course. The devil Strahd being, he's not an actual devil. He's like the vampire Strahd. So he's possessed by the vampire Strahd. Or, you know, mesmerized is what I thought it was. So we're just like, cool. Cool. Back over to me. So at Mad Mary's place, she was crying on the ground, and we go into one room, and we're like, oh, you know, nothing in here. And I'm a paladin, so I'm a really nice guy, and I go in, and I open the door, and I go, Mary, and she's crying. I go, Mary, and she's still crying. So I go over there, and I squat in front of her, and I go, what's wrong? And she says, oh, my child ran away, and it's so sad. I'm like, oh no, why'd she run away? And she goes, I do not know, but I locked her in the house for like 18 years. Why wouldn't she want to be here? And I was like, oh, that's a real good question. And she's like, all I have left is this little doll of hers. And I look, and there's like some toy manufacturer on it that I can like go visit in the village nearby. And I'm like, okay, neat. I'm like, cool, I'll go get your daughter for you, a pinky promise. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. And then, you know, she starts to cheer up, and I'm like, cool, cool, cool. And I leave because that place is creepy. And then we meet back up at the merchant area. Okay, well, what is another building we need to go to? Oh, we need to go find that Burgermeister we heard about earlier. So we go to the Burgermeister's place. In there is his daughter, who seems really cool. We heard about her in the letter, and she's like, yeah, we were sent here to protect you. And she's like, no, my father died, and that's not, you know, that's really weird. But, you know, you sound like cool dudes, sure. But I believe you, basically. And she goes, you should go talk to my brother. He's down at the inn. So we go to the inn. Brother looks at the letter, and he's a pretty chill dude, too. And he goes, yeah, it's not my dad's handwriting. What? News. So confused. We put it together really quickly. Okay, so Strahd, assumedly, had forged the letter to get us here. We don't know why, which is strange. But we do know that apparently many adventurers have come to Barovia, but none leave. You know, that kind of thing. We're like, okay, cool. So we go back to the Burgermeister's house. It looks like it's been under siege. Not in the time we've been gone, but just like, you know, boarded windows and stuff as soon as we walked up the first time. We asked about that, and she was like, yeah, I know, we have been, basically. Werewolves and stuff had been attacking the house for days until finally her father's heart gave out because of the stress. That's sad. And so she doesn't want to leave the house because vampires need to be invited indoors, and if she leaves, she's afraid she'll be kidnapped. Valid. So we just say, cool, we'll take the body out. So we help her brother, and we get the corpse, and we hand it over to the priest, and the priest says he'll bury him in the morning. So we get to the morning, there's a beautiful ceremony, it's really nice. Now what? Well, there is a house in the mist. A haunted house. We were told to go investigate. That's it. And this time, final session before now, I wasn't here for this one. So, Apparently, before going to the haunted house, they head up with some Vistani, and they go to this Vistani outpost place. This is pretty cool. And they go up there, and they get their fortunes read by this, like, Madame Zostra, or whatever her name is. That's probably from a different game. So they get their fortunes read, and they're like, cool, blah, 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 and all this cool information, which, having read the book a little bit, means that this is where the special item's going to be, and here's where the other special item's going to be, and here's where you do the final battle, and here's where an ally is, and that kind of stuff. So, interesting stuff. Very important. Sad I missed it. Then they go back and they're like, okay, time to finally go to the haunted house. And this is where player shenanigans kick in. Apparently they went inside and they fought animated armor, and my buddy Jensen almost died. He was the other crusader. He got the snot beat out of him. So that's life. And then they pull back and they're like, okay, that was crazy. And they're like, you know what, let's just burn the house down. Before even continuing, they just go, let's burn it down. So they burn it down, and that's, they do all this kind of stuff, and it takes a long time, and then the house starts to rebuild itself. And that was actually the whole session. It's a very short session, I think. But that's all that's happening up until now. So, you're caught up. Congratulations. I'm going to go to Dungeons & Dragons in, I think, an hour or 2 hours. And when that happens, trust me when I say, I'm going to get you guys filled in, because I'll have first-hand account, I'll see what's up, I'm going to paladin it up. Y'all have a great one. I've been Reese, you've been great. Bye!